right, welcome back from that quick break, talking about the Global AM News, getting you well informed. Yes, before we went on that, we were discussing the issue as regards the recently released Kuriga School children, but the most update now we've got is the fact that 6 people out of the Kruger school freed from kidnappers them are receiving treatment in Kaduna. The military had said yesterday, saying that out of the 131 of them mates were handed over to the state government, and the general officer commanding 1st Mechanized Division has informed Nigerians that 6 out of the school children are receiving treatment. Talking about the fact that a kinetic and non-kinetic approach was used, but they didn't come out in detail to tell us when they say kinetic, that didn't mean there was a gun duel between them and the bandits, or when they say non-kinetic, does it mean they paid ransom or they had negotiations with the bandit? And if they had negotiations with the bandit, who led the negotiation? Was it Sheikh Ahmad Gumi? And what did they deduce from whatever conversations they had with the bandit? I think is something of importance to Nigerians and to the security agencies.
Yes, like I reiterated, I'm going to be reiterating again yesterday, since they did not outrightly come out, to say that
Ransom
was paid, it's most likely looks like there was a ransom paid, ransom was paid, payment was made of some sort. And yes, the kinetic or non-kinetic approach, if they engaged the kidnappers or the bandits in a gun battle, we'll have heard about the deaths of these bandits or the arrests of these bandits. So I most likely think that they negotiated with these bandits and the kidnappers, which the question I'm asking now is, for how long and how sustainable is this going to be? Will this now be enticing to other bandits to, want to continue in this act, go to schools? I mean, for crying out loud, we're talking about children, we're talking about pupils, school students, in their various schools. They were ambushed and, held in captivity, abducted, and kept in the forest, where you can see now we hear that about 6 of these children are hospitalized who, incurred several injuries. We're talking about the physical injury. Like I said yesterday, and I'm reiterating again today, what we see now are physical injuries. We're not talking about the physiological and the psychological injuries that these children would have to deal with in terms of trauma. A few days ago, a colleague of mine, was robbed, and then I know how she relieves that experience to an extent, and this is not intentional. It's just reflex. She just stands, and it looks like she's walking on eggshell. She's she's making
having
gestures, flashbacks and all that. This was just a robbery incident that happened for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, not less than 5 minutes. But we're talking about children who have been in captivity for over 24 hours. For that long period of time.
6 days
6
plus.
days, more than 24 hours, 6 days. They've been in captivity for 6 days. The torture, the trauma. So let it not end. What I am pushing for, what I'm advocating for right now for these children is, let it not end at just their release. They've been released and, they're put in, they're given some sort of palliatives and all that. No. It goes beyond that. We're talking about trauma here. These are children, they're not even adults. Even as an adult, you look for a way to deal with the trauma of being robbed. Like I gave an instance, you find a way to deal with the trauma of being robbed. But as children, kids that we're talking about here, they most likely would not know how to go about it. So what should be done? Possibly rehabilitation for these children. Therapy should be given to these children. They should be looked into. We don't want to hear that, okay, they've been released and that's that about it. Let the media show us what is being done, to see to the welfare of these children. And as for kinetic or non-kinetic approach, my only question, and the question I'm posing out, is, for how long are we going to go, negotiating with bandits? I like the fact that they're not only to it that they negotiated with the bandits, which is good. But the bandits and other bandits, of course, obviously, they're going to be in communications. They're going to be in the know, like it or not, are going to know that, there were negotiations and ransom was paid. So I hope that this doesn't happen again. We've always been hoping here, and then we see it come to play again. But now I'm asking, just like when the other sisters, the Namibia sisters, if I'm not mistaken, were abducted, I think ransom of some sort was paid. The story was all over Twitter, people were donating and all of that. And we thought that that would be the last of it. We thought that because of how, the security said they were putting in efforts to ensure that there's never a repeat, the bandits are brought to book and all of that. We thought that that would be the last of it. But you see that the fact that these bandits know that a lot of people, Nigerians, were rallying, even officials, to see that, which is fine. It shows that we're empathetic. But my question, especially to security agencies and security forces, is how long, how sustainable, how foreseeable is this issue of ransom paying?
All right. Can we look at the fact that the government is playing hanky-panky? The fact that the first statement the president made was he was not going to negotiate with bandits, no ransom would be paid. Then the fact that Obasani, the governor of Kaduna State, was quick to defend or shield Sheikh Ahmad Gumi from the whole picture, because this is someone who has been speaking on behalf of the bandits, who has said the government should do X, Y, Z for the bandits. Do you think it's deliberate, the fact that they are shielding Ahmed Gumi out of the picture completely? And for someone who says he has, link with the bandits, who is speaking on behalf of the bandits, and suddenly they tell us he wasn't involved in the rescue. Do you find that very disturbing, the fact that they are being economical with the truth?
Absolutely disturbing. Absolutely disturbing. I mean, someone who is a spokesperson for these bandits, advocate for this bandit, has linkage with them. And then we hear all of a sudden that there's a release. Obviously, the compromises were made. A ransom was paid for these children to be released. Because if we're talking about the kinetic